Look, I need to tell someone about what happened to me last month, and maybe writing it down will help me sleep better. I used to work nights at this 24-hour gas station right off Highway 9. You know, the kind, fluorescent lights that buzz and flicker, making everything look sickly yellow. Most nights it was just me, the hum of those lights, and maybe a trucker or two stopping for coffee and diesel. My job was pretty straightforward. Work the register, keep the snacks stocked, make sure the coffee didn't turn into sludge, and keep an eye on the security cameras. After midnight, the place was basically dead, except for the occasional late-night wanderer or someone having car trouble. This particular night, though, Christ, I still get goosebumps thinking about it. The rain was coming down hard, like someone was dumping buckets on the roof, and the parking lot looked like a black lake reflecting our neon signs. I'd already wiped down the counter about 3 times. You do that when you're bored and trying to look busy. When the power did this quick flicker thing, not unusual during storms, but it made the backup generator kick in. So suddenly everything was bathed in this dim, creepy emergency lighting that made my skin look green. The security monitor went fuzzy for a second, all static and white noise. Then the camera feeds popped back up. That's when I saw it on camera 3, the one that watches the back lot where we keep the dumpsters. Something was moving back there, just a dark shape at first, all blurry because of the rain on the camera lens. I leaned in closer, squinting at the screen, telling myself it was probably just a trash bag that got loose in the wind. But the shape was too tall, too straight, like someone just standing there in the rain, facing our back door. My heart started doing this weird hammering thing, and I actually reached for the store phone, finger hovering over 911. But then I thought, what am I going to tell them? That I saw a blurry shadow on a security camera? They'd think I was losing it. So I walked over to the reinforced glass door that leads to the back lot instead. Outside, the dumpster area was pitch black except for one weak security light that barely cut through the rain slashing sideways. I couldn't see anything moving, so I made sure the deadbolt was locked tight and told myself to get a grip. Working alone in what's basically a glass box during a storm will mess with anyone's head. I went back to the counter, tried to focus on rearranging the gum display, but the rain was getting louder, heavier, almost like it was trying to cover up some other sound. Then I heard the front door chime, and I nearly jumped out of my skin, knocking over this whole display of gas station keychains. This guy in a soaked gray hoodie was standing there, water literally pooling around his boots on my freshly mopped. He didn't look at me, didn't say anything, just walked straight to the beer cooler, grabbed the cheapest can he could find, and brought it to my register. His hands were shaking. Could have been from the cold, but something about it felt wrong. "Just this?" I asked, trying to sound normal, but my voice came out all cracked and weird. He just nodded, still not looking at me, and slid this crumpled 5 across the counter. I rang him up, gave him his change, and he pocketed it, took the beer, and walked right back out into the storm without opening it, without drinking it, without saying a single word. I watched him on camera 1, the front lot, and instead of heading toward the road like a normal person, he walked around the side of the building, toward the back, toward where I'd seen that shadow earlier. Maybe he's just cutting through, I told myself, but my stomach was doing these tight little knots. I flipped back to camera 3, the dumpster area, and it was empty again. Just rain and darkness and my own paranoia. I tried to go back to work, wiped up the wet spot his money had left on my counter, checked the coffee machines, but I kept glancing at that monitor, at camera 3, waiting for something to move. Then I heard it. This loud metallic clang from the back lot, like someone had slammed the dumpster lid shut. I froze, listening over the rain, and heard it again. Clang, pause, clang, like someone was hitting the metal with something heavy, rhythmic and deliberate. That's when I lost it and called 911, fingers shaking so bad I could barely dial. "There's someone outside my gas station on Route 9, I told the dispatcher. "Banging on the dumpster, maybe trying to break in, and I'm here alone." She said they'd send someone and told me to lock myself in the back office if I could. But when I looked toward the hallway that led to the tiny office and the back exit, it was completely dark. The emergency lights didn't reach back there. The banging stopped, and somehow the silence was worse, thick and pressing in on me from all sides. I stood behind my counter, clutching that phone, staring at the dark hallway entrance, listening so hard my ears started ringing. That's when I heard the soft, wet scuffing sound coming from the hallway, like boots dragging on linoleum. He was inside. I knew I'd locked that back door. I always did during my shift. It was like a reflex, but somehow he'd gotten in. Maybe he picked the lock, or maybe, and this thought made my blood turn to ice. Maybe he'd been hiding inside before the storm even started. The scuffing stopped, which meant he was just standing there in the dark hallway, between me and the office, between me and the only other way out. The dispatcher's voice sounded tiny and far away. "Ma'am, are you there? What's happening?" I couldn't speak, couldn't even breathe, and then I saw it. Just a sliver of that gray hoodie at the edge of the hallway entrance, then his hand gripping the door frame, pale and dripping. I dropped the phone and ran for the front door, slamming my palm against that panic bar, and the door burst open, rain and wind hitting me like a truck. I didn't look back, just sprinted across that slick parking lot toward the highway lights, screaming for help like my life depended on it. A state trooper found me about 10 minutes later, soaked and shaking under an overpass like some kind of drowned rat. When they went back to check the station, he was gone, vanished into the storm, like he'd never been there. They pulled the security footage later, and it showed the hooded guy walking around the back lot for almost an hour before he came inside, testing doors, peering in windows, like he was studying the place. Then the footage just cuts out for exactly 2 minutes and 17 seconds, right when the power flickered, right when he somehow got inside. They never found him, never even got a decent look at his face. The trooper said he was probably just some drifter looking for shelter from the rain. But I know what I saw. The way he stood in that dark hallway, the way he seemed to know exactly where the cameras were, the way he watched me without ever showing his face. I quit the next day, couldn't even go back to get my last paycheck. Sometimes when it rains hard at night, I still hear that metallic clanging sound, and I see that pale hand gripping the door frame. He wasn't looking for shelter. He was waiting for me to be alone.